Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, a much simpler show on a much simpler topic. We had a live letter last week, very basic Q&A. We're just going to be going over it, sharing our thoughts on what actually was spoken about, and it was pretty long. It was about 70 questions, so we probably won't get to everything in depth, but there's always a few peaches for us to skip somewhere along the lines. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Pogram. Of course, joining me is Sly, aka shrugging to me in the pre-show lobby right now as I'm doing that introduction, aka Sly, aka Greyfox, aka my boy Blue. How you doing, Sly?
Pretty good. Didn't see a lot of peaches. Not that many.
Yeah, but you acted like there's never you were like,
no, I'm just saying in context of this Q&A, it wasn't a lot of peaches.
You were more like saying, it's not like you made it seem like it was like, why would you even say? You were like, it's all right. I know. Yeah, 70 questions in this Q&A, Sly. It's pretty beefy.
Yep.
Yeah. How you doing? Let's slow down, Sly. We're moving too far ahead. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Are you?
I'm doing okay. Yeah.
I saw that you cleared E2 Savage in the Party Finder, so I'd imagine that would be a large contributor to you doing good.
Yeah. Got my weekly re-clear earlier today. So, yeah.
How'd it feel being in a duty complete party versus being in a still need to beat the fight party?
Honestly, the same.
I guess that's true with E2.
Yeah.
It should get a lot easier for duty complete parties starting this week, though, because people who aren't finishing Savage are starting to get tombstone weapons, people who are like investing them. So
true.
Hopefully.
I mean, to be fair, last week what did I get? I bought the tome shoes and the ring because it made sense. Kind of help clear. This week I'm not getting anything because I can't afford anything with tomes. Next week, I don't know.
Well, if you get a lightweight tombstone, if you're going to be pugging all the way through to E4, you probably want to grab that because that's going to be a pretty well. In 2 weeks, everyone can get them because then everyone will have enough Blades of Early Antiquity, assuming they've been doing normal every week.
Yep. Well, all I have to do is 4, so I don't have to do the entire normal.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you only have to do 4 to get the blade.
Yeah, you just got to do 4 once a week to get that Blade of Early Antiquity. Well, hopefully E3. I think you'll have a much easier time with E3 in the Party Finder. The pool of available players for E3 Savage is much tighter than the pool of available players for E2.
You're right, because like earlier today, it was really tough to find a E3 party. Like there were no E3 parties when I finished E2. None. Not one.
Well, it was pretty early in the day. People are probably getting home now-ish. It'll probably be easier in the evening. But you already had Tsunami 2 from what you told me earlier.
Yep.
There you go. See? And I guarantee you won't see Enrage nearly as much with that one. So glad that you had a good week, Sly. I'm tired myself.
How was your week?
My week, I'm tired, dude. I'm beat. I took a nap. I had set my alarm 10 minutes before I was supposed to call you for this. And so I have prepared nothing except for the fact that I already knew we were doing the Q&A. Pretty much. Yeah. And my cat is sitting on the third shelf of a very weekly structured shelving system. And now he's getting up, and I don't want him to break everything. So that's how my day is going. But at least I get to go to Vegas on Friday.
Yeah.
And not win any money. One more for the bonus.
Have you picked out your machine yet?
I'm going to find the crystal machine from FanFest. So I'm just not going to the Rio. I'm going to find it. One more for the listen, I need the run back, you know? That's everyone always needs a good run back, you know?
So we're going to have a story next Tuesday, aren't we?
I mean, it'll be either I won money or I lost money. That's the truth of the matter. Fingers crossed for the winning option. I got student loans to pay. Let's get those out of the way. All right. Before we actually get started talking about the Q&A, the usual stuff at the start of the show. Of course, this show is sponsored by SteelSeries. They've been sponsoring my channel for years and years and years now, and they've been doing giveaways for State of the Realm for the past just about year and a few months. So the July one just wrapped up a few days ago between last week's episode and this week's episode. So I pulled a winner already. I pulled it before the show actually started because I don't believe in dramatic suspense, apparently, and I was so tired I just needed to know at that moment. This is the closest, and this person winning's the closest to winning a gamble I'm going to see this whole week. So I needed to enjoy someone winning something. All right. And the winner was Kyokos, Kyokos. So I'll be shooting you an email.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. I'll be sending you an email. Send me, and then you'll reply and you'll win. So I'll make sure to include the August one under the YouTube video for this week. So if you're watching on Twitch, be sure to check out the YouTube video tomorrow. Oh, and a reminder, Sly, people were pointing out that it is available on Spotify now. You know how we said it a few weeks ago? I probably should do reminders for that for a few weeks because a lot of people were still surprised. Yeah. Show's available on Spotify now. It's iTunes, Spotify, Android podcast stuff, all that's it's everywhere. It's blowing up, all right? It's not. They let you upload and anyone can do it. But it's getting out there. So Congratulations to Kyokos. I'll be sure to reach out to you after the show. And on top of that, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention, and I forgot it, which isn't very useful. And I wanted to, and no, this one was easy. I'm just dumb. And of course, thanks to our patrons for sponsoring the show. We've had the rolling list over there. Well, because, now we have the rolling list, so it's like not as second nature for me anymore. But I still want to shout out the new patrons when they join. So Mini Flame, new elite state of the realm patron. So thank you for supporting. And of course, thank you to our patrons of darkness, who are going to get those two thanked right off the bat. I'm going to do them in reverse order because of the way that their pictures always work, because Kurenai's is the big picture, like the not super wide. This Kurenai, of course, hanging out. I got to pull up the Sly one again. When Ethis isn't here, I shouldn't really use the Ethis one, in my opinion. I should use yours. Because it looks good. I don't know where it is though. So let's see if we can find it real quick. Let's see. You want me to find it right now in the middle of the show, Sly? No. No, you don't. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, I think I asked you this last week. I found it, by the way. But I just lost it because I scrolled past it. I scrolled past it just as quickly as I found it, and so I lost it already. All right, well, thank you, Kurenai, and of course, thank you, Khuja Cross, whose picture is in ultra wide, and this is the picture I've had for both of them for the last several weeks. So thank you, Khuja Cross and Kurenai, for Tochel's trying to make good on the PogChamp in the chat, which, we said you can PogChamp all show long because it's just above you now, chat. There you go. Just the whole show. Every time a new name scrolls up on that list, you can PogChamp technically. It's like me reading the list, almost, but not really. All right. Sly, live letter 53 has happened.
Yep.
Wasn't about 5.1 at all, which we already knew. It was just a Q&A about Shadowbringer's state of it right now. And, a few tidbits on things we can look forward to going into 5.08 and a little bit of 5.1. I have a question for you before we talk about the questions themselves, though. Live letter formats have gone back and forth. This is very much like the original live letter formats from earlier Realm Reborn and even pre-Realm Reborn days, before you had even really started playing Final Fantasy XIV. But, of course, now live letters are more often kind of like newsreels. In a sense, they just have a program they go through. They reveal to us what it is they want us to see. And there's very little room for interaction, where it used to be a very, I guess almost more interpersonal thing where, it felt like there was a bit more of a connection between us and the producer and director during the actual live letters. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer the very on track, here is our program, we are going to show you exactly these things programs, or do you prefer these ones where it's Q&A, which means there's going to be some questions you're interested in, some you're not, but it is overall just answering a bunch of questions the community might have?
I prefer the pretty straightforward news ones where they just tell us what we're getting. Both are necessary, I feel. So I feel like each time there is one, I feel like they should both happen, like one after the other, or however you want to do it. But I feel like Q&A's Q&As are definitely necessary because every patch we have something that needs to be adjusted, and we need to let them know. And this is the only way. This is the main way we let the devs know. So
I don't know that this is the main way. I think this is the most direct means through which we see that they saw a concern or question. Because of course, the community teams in North America and Europe, we know that they work pretty hard to get information back to the team back in Japan. But this is like a direct, okay, will they talk about Ninja? Will they talk about this job? Will they talk about this topic, that topic? And so we get to see an idea of what they might have been able to address directly and what they may not actually have an entire grasp on, or at least they're not letting us know that they have a grasp on something just yet. One thing that didn't pop up here that I actually was really hoping to, as much as I think there's a bunch of great questions here, is, we did the Savage show and we spoke a lot about the instance timers. We showed the Titan video of what happens, had that 9-second difference. And I was hoping to see something. I didn't see if anyone had actually asked on the OF. I know I hadn't, so I obviously didn't help, but there's no mention of that here. Hopefully it is something they are aware of and it just wasn't something they wanted to bring up here, but fingers crossed that it's gotten a lot more attention as of late, and I would really hope to see it come more into the limelight and be adjusted for a more consistent experience across everything. That being said, Sly, they did answer quite a few burning questions.
They did.
And the very first question was probably question numero uno in regards of importance and in regards of the sequential order that they actually decided to answer questions in. Ninja.
Yep.
Now, I don't play Ninja anymore. You don't play Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a question for you, Sly, because I've heard other people talking to me about this, but I haven't seen this because I don't look. I don't go into the Party Finder too often, but you do. So I'm curious if you've seen this. Have you seen groups locking Ninja out of a slot?
No.
Okay.
I'm the exact opposite. I will lock people in.
Define what does that mean? Because of course you need 8 people. Of course you're locking them in.
No. I'm locking specific jobs in.
But is that locking any other job out? Like, are you just trying to make sure it's like one melee, one range, one magic?
No, more specific. I want a dancer.
You greedy motherfucker. That's all that. I have played dancer. That's some greedy shit right there.
Wait, it's not the only one. First off, here's the thing. If I bring you in as a dancer, if I put in, I want a dancer, and you're not fucking dancing with me, what the fuck are you in my party for?
You greedy motherfucker.
Secondly, I will put in for a scholar and a Astro.
Really? No white mage? I mean, I wouldn't even be selective. I would just make sure it's 2 different healers. I'd never like having 2 of the same one.
Like, this party serves only one purpose, and it's just for strict fucking damage. That's it.
Oh, you don't trust the party. So you actually take the reverse approach to the Party Finder, because most people in the Party Finder want that comp that's like, okay, when everyone fucks up, save our ass. You're like, I trust you won't fuck up. Just pump my logs so we can win.
And they still fuck up.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You can lock the job. You can't make them play them well.
Yeah, that's very true. And again, no fucking.
Yeah, that's such a greedy fucking Party Finder comp, dude. That's like
no dance partner. No dance partner.
Do you put it in the thing?
Black mage boom booms. But okay.
But I made the party, motherfucker.
I made the party. Secondly, first of all, I made the party. Secondly, at the end of the fight, you gave it to the wrong person because you gave it to them. I still beat them in fucking DPS without your dance partner. Need a fucking black mage with fucking dance partner. I still beat him.
Okay, I see kind of where the emotion is coming from in this case.
Like, they're wrong. That's the emotion. They're fucking wrong.
I don't even want to talk about the Q&A anymore. I just want to talk about Sly's Party Finder adventures. That's all. I'm far more interested in this. Okay, so what you're saying is you don't lock a ninja out, you just lock a dancer in.
I mean, why would I? I mean, trick attack, sure. Yeah, why not?
I shouldn't be surprised by that, even in the slightest.
Bring that too. Like, yeah, if we have that comp and I get a ninja too, I'm like, fuck, yeah, sure. I ain't turning you down.
Did you know most party finder groups would be like, oh, the old dancer ninja combo, I'm going to go the other direction. That's what other people tell me story-wise. Like dancer and ninja, you know, they're those high support DPS, you know, they bring a lot to the other people, but they individually still aren't. People don't trust that they're going to get someone who's good enough on those jobs that the job's already low personal DPS comparatively is going to be sufficient. They just assume that every party finder is going to be that 30-minute expert.
We, the other DPS, make that shit up. So, like, I'm fine.
Well, you know, yeah, but not everyone. The thing is, see, you have to trust people as they join your party. Other people have to join the party and hope they can trust the other people. So you're like, oh, I know it'll be fine from my end, so I just need to find 7 other people who at least won't destroy everything. You know, they're joining every party, assuming the party leader is just as incompetent as everyone else in the party. They're not thinking like you are. So Sly. The good news is you're not locked. Literally the 2 jobs that I've seen people say they've seen people lock out of the party finder. You are like, Get right in here, guys. Come on, I trust you.
Right.
All right. See, I'm down for that. All right. Well, the ninja, they went into pretty in-depth detail. They seem to recognize that the community is not happy with the job, which I think is the most important thing. It's kind of in the boat Machinist was, where it, you know, a good ninja is still good to have, but it's a lot of work for what most consider not adequate enough performance on average. So there's 3 things they're looking to fix. Ninjutsu and Mudra combinations being disrupted by GCD timing, causing clunkiness. So I want you to cast your mind back to when Dancer first got shown from the media tour. Not even at the media tour, from the public media tour reveal. And how many people talked about Dancer's dance system being a better Mudra system?
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah. They might get their turn. Because the way this reads is, a lot of people have been interpreting it differently, but they projected a few ideas in the unofficial translations. But in this official one, it's use a combo, use ninjutsu, return to combo. Now, that sounds to me like the way steps generally function now.
Right.
You know, you use it. It's not a combo per se. I mean, there is a 2-part combo, but it's use weapon skill, do dance, return to what you were doing kind of thing. Do you think that this is going to be just mudras being OGCD and not being interruptible, thus you can weave them? Or do you think they're going to... Because they did specifically make mention in the unofficial translation that they, quote, learned a lot from developing Dancer in regards to making sequence skills.
But OGCD, though?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Which do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll be like they just make the mudras OGCD and like so you can do like one mudra, then weapon skill, then next mudra, then ninjutsu, as opposed to like having to do it all in one sequence? Or do you think they just like super buff the ninjutsus, make it so they work more like Dancer steps? So you get like 1,000 potency Raitons.
Yeah, I think they super buff them. I wouldn't say it's... I'm not saying it's too soon to put him on OGCD, but I just don't think they would do it at all.
You don't think they do the one where it just works like it does now, but it's uninterrupted when you do it between like weapon skills and stuff? You don't think they'll end up going that route? A lot of people don't seem to think that. All right,
probably not.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they're doing this now, because I think Ninja's at a point where, like I said, Machinist was, where it desperately needs an identity sort of reorganization. They've just tried adding stuff to it years over years, and it's kind of just crumbling at the seams.
It like you said, it just needs a revamp. And I feel like Machinist got a revamp. I mean, you can say like it was a major overhaul, it was a major change, but to me, it was a revamp.
I love Machinist now.
Yeah. There you go.
The second point was too many inputs required to perform rotations. We're reconsidering the combo rotation. Now, in the unofficial translation, it was implied Shadow Fang being separated and being a completely different combo was the potential concern there. So the solution to that is to make it so that it's more like Chaos Thrust. I suppose, where it gets combined either with the it's the Aeolian Edge combo or the Armor Crush combo, and it's somewhere mixed in there. I've asked a few ninjas. They said they'd have to change things. It could work, but they'd have to change like buff durations and stuff to make it. Because if it's part of the Armor Crush combo, you don't. I guess that they need it to be they need the dot to be longer because they only refresh Armor Crush once every certain period of time as it is. And if it's part of the Aeolian combo, then it needs to be shorter because they're just going to override it a bunch. So curious to see what that actually ends up being. I don't think that's even the key for me. When I think of ninjutsu, I don't think of ninja having too many inputs on their combos. I think of the whole Tenchi Jin plus 2 Kasatsus plus their default ninjutsu plus Shikuchi resets plus I put all that in a bowl and mix until it makes a ninja dough, I suppose. You bake some bread, some meal.
Let's make some Soylent Green.
Yeah, make him some Soylent Green. Yeah. There you go. So I don't know if that actually addresses but maybe point A digs into point B and they both kind of address that same sort of, too many inputs problem. Maybe.
Right.
Third thing is Trick Attack. They said they're increasing ninja's personal damage in 0.08. They said
which I feel is the major point.
I don't think it is actually. I think that it's a portion of it, but it's when people talk about ninja, they talk about the amount of work to do the damage it deals. That implies that if they're going to keep having to do the same amount of work, they'd like the feedback, to get more positive feedback in terms of their output, or they need it to be simpler. That's like, those are the two big things. Now, if you get both, that's great. Then ninja's just as probably busted as, 2 of the other 3 melees, which are, the most unbalanced role in the game right now, I think, without a doubt. But they said Trick Attack has a lot of influence, so the values will be adjusted with this in mind, meaning they're leaving Trick Attack. They've been very particular about this in the unofficial translation. Trick Attack is staying as is, and that things are going to be adjusted in 5.08 and then may immediately see readjustment in 5.1 because 5.08 is just like, here's a tide you over kind of patch. So I'm asked the easy question and the hard question at the same time. You mentioned earlier the ninja bringing the Trick Attacks. You were like, yeah, cool, man, get right in here. In what universe do you see maybe them not having Trick Attack anymore at some point in the future?
The Void.
The 13th? You think so? You're of the opinion it'll always have Trick Attack. It'll always be balanced around Trick Attack.
Yes, that to me that's their identity.
Ninjas both agree with you and hate that it's true at the same time. It's like, because it's absolutely true. I mean, what has everyone been saying for years?
I mean, it's not like that's not to downplay them, but that is their identity. That's what most people know you for. It's not an insult. Like, again, I want you. Come to my party, please.
Unless you lose Trick Attack, in which case, get out. In which case, that's just one more person who could get dance partner, so get the hell out. Yeah, that's something. It's you're right though. It is their identity. I think it'll stay too. I'd like to know what a world looks like with a ninja that doesn't have it. I'm very curious to see.
I don't.
I'd love to see, like, if they had conceived what the job would look like without Trick Attack.
What would replace it? What would you do?
Well, I'll tell you this: at least Suiton would only have Mesui because you'd have nothing else to spend it on. It could mean one less 3-part ninjutsu, so less clipping. It depends on how that actually ends up mattering with the ninjutsu changes. It would mean potencies buffed across the board. Dude, I think if they do this, if they do the change here and they make it more like dancer steps, depending on what they really mean by this, dude, I wouldn't be surprised to see some like 1k potency ninjutsus, and that shit would be, imagine hitting a 100k Raiton. That would be fucking dope. What? You don't agree? Because I, as a dancer, I think of my 1,000 potency skill, and I'm like, yo, I did 101,000 with standard step the other day. So I think about a ninja doing 101,000 with like a dancer step style ninjutsu, and I'm like, yo, I would be hyped as a dancer if I had an ability every 20 fucking seconds that would pump some deeps out. Samurais would be pissed. I don't care though. But anyway,
yeah. We'll get to them in a second.
Yeah, we'll see literally a second, because that's the very next question that's on the list here.
Wait. What the fuck, Yoshi P? We're fucking getting beat by fucking dragoons and shit.
And what do you mean and shit? You know exactly the other job that's beating them, and it's monks.
We should be fucking top DPS. What fucking gives, Yoshi P? Why do you do this to us? You put us in, you don't give us fucking utility. We're just raw DPS. And we're not even top DPS anymore. What the fuck?
Damn. That's brutal. You just ruined that job's whole career. You're not even a rapper.
That was the question.
I like chat. It's like, well, Yoshi P plays Black Mage, so they have to win.
Exactly.
That's what chat's like. They're like, well, I mean,
Yoshi P's like, give me dance partner.
You think Yoshi P gets mad when he doesn't get dance partner in Raid?
Probably. He gets passive aggressive as shit, probably.
Be like, LOL fucking noob. You see my deep... I'm the producer and director. I don't care if I do 5k DPS. Give me that. Oh my god. This show is... Man. they like, oh, guys, I think we're going to have to find another dancer in a second. I think they might be DCing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so Samurai, second question was pure DPS, no party utility, not doing enough DPS. Shoha's really awkward. Hagakure you added back, and it's like, whatever. So What's going on is the question, pretty much, with Samurai.
Yeah, what the fuck?
To be fair, that's been the question for 2 years now, is what's going on. And it just never gets better. It doesn't. A good samurai is still a good samurai.
Yeah, so he can still like contend for first.
Yeah.
He can still contend.
I've seen some pretty dope deeps. I've also seen monks doing 16k DPS, and they give me brotherhood.
What are they asking to lower the ceiling by doing this? Are they asking to lower the ceiling?
I don't know what they're asking, but they're asking for samurai to not be fucked. Which I'd say design-wise, I've been saying for 2 years, it didn't work with Monk and Heaven's Word, so they fixed it in Stormblood. It doesn't work with... It's just... I don't know what they're afraid of with Samurai. It feels like they're afraid of Samurai being so strong. I don't know how to describe it. But I agree with what this person's saying. I mean, that's why I say the melee DPS role is probably the most imbalanced role. It's probably the most imbalanced role we've had in years. It's got 4 options, and 2 of them are screwed, and the other 2 are way overperforming. Sorry, Sly. Yep. I'm just saying.
What do you mean, sorry?
Well, because I'm including Dragoon. One of the 2, like that job was ridiculous before Monk buffs, and then Monk got buffed. Now they're both insane. Yeah, like you can't even buff Samurai with how strong Monk and Dragoon are because they're too strong.
So, what's the solution?
Not one you like. I think Monk got off way too good. I'm glad they changed certain things with Monk. I think Monk is the biggest problem child of this question. It's not even Samurai. Samurai could certainly use changes to Shoha. Hagakure is literally just there for like resetting sends between trash and stuff. And they even say Samurai's burst is designed around benefiting from receiving party buffs. And Black Mage is balanced around being the only caster without raise and party buffs. And we believe Samurai is also in a similar situation, so its potencies will be slightly adjusted in 5.08. Slightly adjusted was the key word. Slight. So it's light with a S. Yeah. But 5.1 is going to be very telling for me. Because we're reaching a point where you can't just keep giving them more deep. Like, everyone always says, oh, bring the other jobs up.
Yeah,
you have to stop somewhere.
Yeah, and I agree. When does it get utility?
Honestly, I don't know why I just should have given it to them. They either should have given it to them or should have said Yoshi P when he was busy playing Black Mage with Test Station. He should have gone over to Samurai and been like, "Is it doing good? No, great. Make it stronger."
Yeah,
because it's just not. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say.
Do you think 6.0 they actually get utility?
No, because Black Mage has been skirting that for ages now, and they're doing fine. So they're capable. They're scared. Every job that's supposed to be like that, except for Black Mage. I guess White Mage too. Like White Mage is supposed to be the highest personal DPS. They kind of did it right with White Mage too, at this point. But I don't know what to say, man. Samurai needs some buffs, and I think Monk and Dragoon are too strong, and I think Ninja speaks for itself. And we'll need to wait and see on that front. So, fingers crossed. I wonder what they'll do with Shoha. I think they'll make so like Third Eye maybe gives meditation stacks on top of you being able to meditate or something like that. Even then, Shoha probably would still want a potency buff. Just my personal opinion. It'd be cool if you made like Third Eye, like it lasts 5 seconds and then you trigger it and then you get the option to use the follow-up skills. Give it like a 5 second period where like any hits you land in that 5 second period give you meditation stacks or something. So you get like 1 or 2. So instead you just get 1 every time you pop it. I don't know. Something. Just fix it. I don't know what to do at this point. And then number 3 is Summoner. The third problem child.
Summoners have to defuse a bomb apparently to do high damage.
Yeah, ever play that game where you defuse the bomb where someone has like the sheet in front of them? Shut up and something. I don't remember. Chad will remember.
Keep talking
and don't explode. Nobody explodes. Keep talking and nobody explodes. There you go. Yeah, it's Summoner's the dude with the sheet, not with the bomb. He's got like 12 pages to like dig through every time something happens. Yeah, that's the Summoner. I've seen some Summoners look at this question and have more questions. Because the question Summoners are very busy. Refreshing dots in the time you activate your buffs causes dots to fall for a few seconds, even when using Try Disaster. Any plans to reduce the amount of button pressing or adjustment to the duration of dots. They seem to imply that they're going to be reworking Ruin. The unofficial translation makes it seem as though they're going to be making it so Ruin no longer needs the dots in order to hit its higher potency. This says literally the complete opposite. As if it's just going to be getting buffed for more potency. But they don't go to... I've seen people bring up Eggy Assault as a clunky. And I haven't played it, so I can't speak. I'm just going to take... I've heard many summoners complain to me about Eggy Assault. So, the fact that that's not mentioned anywhere in this question has me slightly concerned.
A little bit.
I don't know. Chat's already saying, yeah, Eggy Assault sucks. Sucks, clunky,
awful.
Definitely clunky, awful, clunky, and Garuda has the bomb. Which I guess it speaks for itself.
How did she get the bomb?
Well, I mean, you're the guy with the sheet. Garuda's the one with the bomb. The summon has to be the one with the bomb. There's really no other way to have it. So yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have much insight into this, but if summoners are telling me that Eggy Assault is a problem and it's not here, I'm concerned for them. So, and still that Bahamut chases you like a fucking 6-year-old that wants ice cream instead of doing his attacks. Yeah, I mean, you've seen it. You've raided with summoners before where the summoner, like the Bahamut's like over here on the side, and like the summoner goes that way, and he's like, "Where are you going?" Like,
someone please clip that.
That's literally like Bahamut's like, stay there and kill the bad guy. I need you to stop it right now. Oh man, hi Aloha. You're not Bahamut. That's not your problem.
Where are you going?
Yeah, that's what he's wondering. That's like, where are you going? Yeah. So I do hope these are. I think what the most important thing is. I think these 3 jobs need the most help because they're not as rewarding to play as they could be. That's the biggest problem. Not even like the way they play. It's the reward. It's the effort versus reward. In your opinion, Sly, are there any other jobs that aren't these 3 that you think could use an adjustment? It doesn't even have to be a buff or a nerf. It could just be an adjustment, something that you don't like about something. Think about it.
Just an adjustment.
An adjustment, like just something that's not mentioned here. There are some. They mentioned like Bard and a couple of other jobs, but very, very loosely. They don't seem to imply that there's anything specific happening there.
I mean, honestly, the only thing I can think of, which they probably won't do, Scholar.
Bane.
Yep.
All right, that's fair. That's a fair one. But Joker said Blue Mage.
Probably won't happen.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do it. I would totally be down for it. I don't think they'll do it either. I think there's actually a lot of things that need adjustment that aren't mentioned here. But well, Machina Seat Blast is a big one. Like I can do it no problem, but a lot of people have concerns with it. It's not like the end of the world if you have lag during it, but it certainly sucks to have lag and then see someone else who doesn't. You're like, that's like a different video game they're playing because like it all works. What's another one? Loha, don't give me that look while I'm trying to think. I'm not food. I just had one and then I looked at him and it just all went away. I mentioned a few dancer changes a few weeks ago on the show. I don't think Bard really needs. I think Machinist could use a little bit of potency in general. I think it has the Samurai problem where for bringing not very much compared to the other ranged, it's not like high enough over the other jobs, but it is hyper mobile. And I'd say relatively easy to play. So maybe it doesn't need that much more, but I think it could use more of a bump so it fills that kind of I am big DPS guy, please. I don't know. That's it. And then I'm sure there are tanks are relatively balanced, but I'm sure they have things they'd like to see get adjusted. I'm scared for the next question though. This next question was about Bard.
Bard.
Yep. In 5.0, we removed most party synergy effects, but left actions such as Nature's Min to differentiate it. Giving Bard more utility would make Bard close to the Dancer, require Bard's damage to be lowered. Current situation that it has some party utility, has some decent damage, which is hard to balance. We'd like to consider player opinions, so please provide feedback.
Decent.
Range physicals on a knife's edge. I think everything's very close to being where it needs to be right now. There could be a slight adjustment here or there. If they approach Bard, and I think Bard's the biggest problem child of the bunch. If Bard goes too much in one direction, I've seen what an overpowered Bard looks like. So I don't need to see it again. But I'd still hope they make some adjustments. I like to see actually Bard lose something somewhere and then gain more power on Apex Arrow in particular. Like just to make the Apex Arrow like feel better to use. They're changing the sound effect on Apex Arrow.
I feel like they've taken away like so much from Bard to begin with.
But don't take away like a mechanic. I mean, take like 10 potency off this skill so you can make Apex Arrow like 1,000 potency instead. So when you use it, it feels really fucking good. Yeah. And also replace, chat's like lose quick knock, get wide volley back. I loved wide volley. I missed that.
Me too.
Yeah. The good news is Apex Arrow will have its sound effect reduced. Right now it has the same sound effect as Pitch Perfect. So people who just play by listening, they hear the sound effect for it. They go, "Oh, I have pitch. Oh, I don't. Oh, I don't. All right, I don't know what the fuck I have anymore." So that's gonna get adjusted. Astros, they're not changing the cards. That's the next thing. You and I have talked about our opinion on the card system. You even invite them to your raid groups apparently because they play cards.
Because they play cards. Yeah, and see the problem that they mentioned, what like was the feedback from players saying like they got useless cards. And again, y'all some fucking bitches.
What does that mean? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Fucking Astro. Ruined it. Just ruined it.
Sounds like Sly wants old balance back. He wants that big deeps.
Just old cards back. Wow, y'all some bitches, man.
I'm of the side that I prefer the new card system. Personally. I don't live in a universe where I don't pretend it wasn't 5 cards that were dumb and 1 card that wasn't dumb.
It wasn't 5.
It was 5 cards that made the 1 card better. If you gave me an arrow in the way this game works now, I would punch you in the face.
I agree.
If you gave me the arrow and fucked all of my timing as any job right now, I'd punch you in the face.
Right. Change 2 cards. 2 cards. Not 5, 2. And I'll be okay. But nah, y'all some bitches. Change all the cards. Make them all balanced.
I like this. I'm a fan. Hey, Divination got a buff. That's on the 2 minutes now, which I wanted. I believe Divination totally deserved to be 2 minutes. I thought 3 minutes was way too long on that, so I was happy. I've spoken to some Astros. Apparently, it's doing really, really well with the most recent buffs. Like, the healers might actually or now be at a very respectable point compared to one another, and it's just a matter about play preference.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, scholars tell me they feel like gods and dungeons are fun with energy drain again, minus Art of War still feeling like it's terrible to use. White Mage, come on. And Astro. And Astros now are just talking about the cards again. Because now cards are like the major topic. But everything's gotten a lot better for them.
They'll always be the topic.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's like little things. Like chat's brought up a couple of small things that could be fixed from a gameplay perspective that are always relevant. Gameplay fixes are always relevant regardless of the status of a job, in my opinion. So there's that. Things are looking up. These first few questions were big, like, how do I say, calming factors, I suppose. They brought peace to some people, unless you wanted cards, I suppose.
Yeah.
Then, sorry, you're fucked. Sorry, Sly. Keep inviting your Astros and getting the 6% and stop complaining. Do you kick them if they don't give you every melee card? Well, if you're the only melee, I guess, then it's kind of fair if you're the only one who gets them. Do you lock out other melees?
No.
Okay.
Should.
Well, I guess if that was the case, Ninja wouldn't be able to join. Monk wouldn't be able to give you Brotherhood.
All right.
There you go. See? It's benefits. Perfect. PvP. All right. Sly, I've never been more excited for a PvP question. No, Sly. You're not getting out of this one.
Yeah, they'll take adjustments in 05. So
so
fine.
Sly, it's literally the most exciting thing they've said about PvP in 2 years, and you're gonna fucking skip it
because it's not Shatter.
Because it's good, is what you're saying. Because what they're saying is good, and what you're saying is bad.
You could hit a dick.
Listen, Sly, it's not my fault Shatter's the worst idea they've ever had, and that's in a world where Rival Wings exists. But it's not.
You shut your whore mouth.
I really don't like Rival Wings.
No, but it was in the anime commercials somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, those two are the only two who played that mode. Anyway, moving on. So PvP. It's going up to 16 actions in 0.1 now. I don't know what that'll actually mean because we don't know. They mentioned like more group defensive capability, like tanks the ability to protect party members more, and healers getting AoE heals as an option, and giving more jobs self-healing action so they can, more, I guess, compete on a higher level for emergency situations. So giving people a lot more I want to survive this moment buttons and putting more onus on using them properly as opposed to just giving you more buttons to press, I suppose. And these are also charged. The last one was a charged action on top of that. So if you can hold it for longer, then it becomes a better emergency button in terms of really tight scenarios. But that's not the big thing.
No, it's not.
5.1. So I think we spoke about the potential of a new PvP mode in 0.1 a few weeks ago. They had mentioned it, but we didn't, they hadn't mentioned it in a while. So the validity of that claim was questionable. In 5.1, we are planning to introduce a new PvP content that the dev team is currently calling Seal Rock 2 internally. This might be slightly delayed depending on the situation.
New?
Yeah.
I mean, can you really call that new?
I mean, you can call as much as you can call the second Rival Wings map new.
Fun.
There you go.
Okay.
If it was a second Shatter map, it would be new to you, I'm sure. Luckily, I don't think they'll ever do that because they're smart. Then again, they made it in the first place. So, it's questionable. That's fine. That's whatever. So it's in the past now. I only have to play it when it's in daily rotation. And then I don't have to play it. So, implying I queue into PvP's daily rotation and all. That's funny. I'm excited, dude. I've been waiting for Seal Rock 2 for years. They mentioned it in 4.2. In 4.2, they mentioned it. And we've waited till now. I'm pumped. I'm ready. It's time for a PvP extravaganza. Just gonna nod at me. That's it.
You know what I want.
Yeah, but what you want sucks.
They can make it better.
Yeah, I mean, that's a low bar to set. But yeah, you're right. They could 100% make it better.
Okay. All right.
I'd be okay if Shatter, like, if defeating the ice made you more effective against the other player, not every player just goes and beats ice and then runs the fuck away like a little bitch. That sucks. And then you got the one dude who's like, I know nobody ever pays attention to the back door. And then the team falls apart and you wonder why you queued in the first place.
Listen, those rocks fucking deserved it.
Sly, Shatter is just one letter away from being shitter. And that's what I'm going to call it from now on. Can I buy a vowel, please? I. There's no I. No, I'm pretty sure there is. Flip it over. Flip it over. Sly, it's okay.
Thanks, Vanna.
Yeah, Vanna. Just flip it over anyway, Vanna. I don't care. Okay, you already tried to skip ahead and talk about there's no tank balance. And yeah, tanks are pretty closely balanced. There's some stuff tanks want, and I think it's reasonable. Living Dead is kind of... The game is outpacing Living Dead's effect, where like non-benediction healers are having a harder and harder time playing around it properly. I think that's completely reasonable. A healing buff or changing the effect just overall doesn't really adjust Dark Knight's actual outputs, but it would fix the funness of the job. So I could see that. Warriors, they even mentioned maybe getting a change to their buff duration on something. So some people think that could be Storm's Eye, which would be a nice quality of life thing, but it's not game breaking. So few little things, but otherwise mostly balanced. I think most people can agree. Yeah. Next one's a spoiler question, which we're past spoiler cast at this point. We haven't done Aerzivia yet, but it's a very particular one that just tries to dig into stuff that we'll see later. You know, just how long they'd been working on the story. And the answer just goes into, you know, story elements from the past, you know, the Warrior of Darkness patch in like 3.1 and 3.4, and how they still hadn't even figured this out yet when they did that. Kind of a little reminder that there's a lot of pieces that go unused for years, and then they just show up again. Like our good old boy Grahatia.
Yep.
It's good to have him back. It's good to see you awake, Grahatia. That's it. It's the only line that matters. So, Sly, the next question pissed me the fuck off. When riding the trolley in Amarang, I was amazed that the tracks were going to the same hill leading towards Camp Horizon and the source. I'd like to hear more on the other fields that connect the source to the first. They'll elaborate on it more for now. Somebody pointed out to me that you know where all the Minfilia stuff takes place? At the geographical location that would be equal to the Waking Sands in the source. And I realized it because they were right. Those are the tracks that lead to Horizon. Between Horizon and the Waking Sands. The Minfilia part of the story takes place in the Waking Sands. We went back. We didn't even realize it.
Pray return.
I'd pray destroy instead. I like that option better on the other side of the map. Those motherfuckers. I don't know how I didn't see those tracks and immediately think to myself, wait, isn't this where the Waking Sands would have been? God damn it. Next one's about Feo. They just talked about her actually, what her role actually is, how they came up with those ideas. But he basically just said, Oda-san's going to be talking about it at Gamescom, which is coming up soon. And also they have Natsuko Ishikawa, who was the main scenario writer for Shadowbringers, so people should be excited for that. She's going to be at PAX West, along with lead artist Takeo Suzuki. So there's going to be all sorts of topics, and they any question that involves story and stuff from now on, they just kind of skirted it to Oda-san, and Ishikawa will be there. What are you doing? Don't talk back. He's just in the sun. Just chilling. You can't see it. Well, actually, can you? No, because you have this camera. No, yeah. He's just in the sun scratching post, losing his fucking mind. Things like, these are the kind of questions where we go from those hardcore ninja questions, and then this is where the Q&As, the opinions on whether or not we actually want more Q&A style things versus more just give us information stuff, is talking about the development of character expression in the story, the actual animations and stuff. It's not uninteresting, but I think when a lot of us wake up at 4 a.m, we maybe are not how do their eyebrows do that? Yeah, it's 7 a.m. for you, and in Europe they're like, dude, I'm having fucking lunch right now. What's going on? What you so mad about? I still find this stuff interesting. I just find it less interesting at 4 a.m. I think. Right. I don't know if that kind of, I like these Q&As, but at the same time, man, I don't know. I don't know how to. I didn't care at 4 a.m. It's cool. But I didn't need a question about it, I guess. That's my thing. New trusts. That's the next question. They've already started talking about the eventuality of trusts in A Realm Reborn content. Now, that's going to play into a question that comes by later that we probably dive into right now. But are they going to add new NPCs for trust? And they said, we had many ideas, such as fighting primals together, changing the Kasherman Praetorium into a 4-player instance, and having characters like Rauban in there. They said obviously that's going to take a while, so 5.1, just new dungeon, new trust.
Quick thing: if you're going to do that, let us fucking skip cutscenes again.
Well, obviously that's the whole point of the change, is people there wouldn't be a roulette anymore, Sly.
Right.
So of course you can skip the cutscenes. I love when people ask for the cutscene skip back, but they want the same amount of experience points. The whole reason it's worth that much experience points is because you have to watch the cutscenes. Do you think they should do a main scenario roulette where it says without cutscenes and it's just destroyed EXP?
No.
Exactly. No. So, yeah, kind of my point. But yeah, probably have some trusts in older stuff. I guess the question for me would be, if they're going to go back and do that, do they have trust? Do they just end up doing trust for that dungeon? Do they actually make trust you can level from 15 onward, like we had from 71 to 80?
Would you actually do that shit?
Is there a title?
Please don't put a title on this shit.
Dude, I feel like they're going to do a title for New Game Plus.
Please don't do it. Please don't.
I can already see it coming.
I'm afraid for your sanity.
The Lore Keeper. There you go. That's what they can make for New Game Plus. If you finish all the story again with New Game, just call it the Lore Keeper. Lore Keeper title. You might skip all the cutscenes, so you're really keeping nothing, but it's a thought that counts.
Yeah.
But yeah, just there's going to be a new dungeon in 5.1. It's going to be a main scenario dungeon. It's going to have trusts. And the trust will only be part of main scenario dungeons. If they do a new dungeon in a patch that doesn't have trust, it will not, or doesn't have the main scenario tied to it, they won't do trust with it. So they're just reiterating that specific part. I'm okay with that. I don't really care. I have them all at 80. Fuck it. It's whatever. Just add new trust for me to level with new titles, and we'll be okay. Because I did it when it was hard. Now it's stupid fucking easy. So if it's going to be stupid fucking easy, I ain't giving up no titles, man. Sly, come on, this is a Peaches question. You have to admit this next one's a Peaches question.
No, it's not a Peaches question. It's
a sandwich. It's a sandwich question. You're right. What if there are peaches in the sandwich? They could add some nice depth of flavor. Now I'm gonna go buy peaches. Fuck. I need to go get bananas anyway. Were the sandwiches from the main scenario quest handmade by the Exarch? I don't know. LOL. Just eat them. That's like what FC chat looks like when you ask that. If you were to ask that in FC chat, it'd say the same thing. Be like, I don't, just eat them. What do you? Is this like when someone shakes like a celebrity's hand? They go, I'm never washing this hand again. These sandwiches, like, I'm never eating these sandwiches.
I think somebody's trying to work on their Crystal X-Art fanfic.
Oh, and the sandwiches are part of it? Yeah. There's a picnic involved with sandwiches and peaches.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait. You've opened a terrible door.
That door's already been open. Have you fucking seen Reddit and Twitter?
No! I don't... Sly, fanfic is a lot different than someone drawing art.
This shit, it just shows up on my fucking timeline.
That's a lot different from A, stop following Fold. B, that's a lot different than a fanfic. Sly, we've had a fanfic. You already know how this works. Never forget that fanfic we did with charity or yeah. Never forget that, okay?
Never again.
And Ethis had to read the whole damn thing.
Never again.
There you go. I mean, it's already happened, so it's like it's never going anywhere. Let's see. Which of the main protagonists in Shadowbringers is your favorite? Cool little preferential question. Not something I want to know at 4 in the morning. It's something I want to read in an interview later. Like if I woke up later and saw that, I'd be like, oh, that's cool he took that question. At 4 in the morning, I'm like, just ask him about instances, please. I just pick different questions. To be fair, with 70 questions, how many like really good questions can you ask with 70 questions?
Right.
It's a lot of questions. New music tracks. They said that the soundtrack was coming out soon. Little did we know it'd be later that show, because they literally brought it out later and said, hey! Oh, man. You know, Final Fantasy XI even put out a new soundtrack this month.
Really?
Yeah. They also, it's weird because Final Fantasy. So did I say last show that I predicted something was happening with 11 and 14? I feel like I said that on last State of the Realm.
You talked about 11. I don't remember what exactly it was.
Nothing came of it. Like this live letter came and went. Nothing of regarding Final Fantasy 11.
Was it the login campaign for?
Yeah, 11, there's a free login for it from the 9th till the end of the month, and it was so random. And I was convinced that because that's lining up with the anniversary of 14, that there would be like some sort of collaboration again of some kind. But you know, this live letter came and went, and my prediction went completely unfounded. So I don't know. The fact that 11 has a free login, they put out a new soundtrack. It's just all weird to me. All right.
Yep.
Then again, Square Enix also ruined the best Final Fantasy VIII meme today. So I guess it's just a month of things I wasn't expecting. Oh, you didn't see the you're the best looking guy at this party thing? Have you seen the meme with Final Fantasy VIII? You're the best looking guy at this party? Mm-hmm. Well, they showed what it looks like in the remaster, and it's not fucked up, so it's ruined. He has a face. It's not... or whatever the hell that pixelated mess was in the original one. So it's ruined. The game's ruined. They've ruined everything. I'm going to mod back in the original one for that scene.
Or he just wears an ugly fucking mask, yeah.
That would
have been great.
Wish it was a masquerade and he wore a shitty mask of himself.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This next one's a lore one. An Encyclopedia Eorzea 2 mentions Amdapor was made from transcendent beings from another plane, all the statues and everything. And they said, yeah, what do you know? It's when you look back at that, you know, we made it intentionally, so you're going to look back at that and go,
Neat.
I wonder.
Neat.
Wonder what that's all about, huh? And I do, so successful. When a new Beast Tribe quest 5.1. I love quests. I mean, we knew that already. Yeah. But do we talk about which one you think is going to be first of the 3 that got named?
No, we never did.
Which do you think is going to be first of the 3? Do you remember the 3?
God, who were the three?
Pixies, the Fae, the Numo, and the Dwarfs. Which I actually hope it's the Dwarfs in the shitty town to the east.
Kind of. I know it's not going to happen, but I kind of wanted the Amaros.
I actually would be really down for an Amaro series. Maybe they can involve the Amaros with the Numo or something like that. Because I actually do really agree with you.
Yeah, but the problem is like we've gotten enough lore out of the Amaros through the main story, well, through side quests, I guess. So I don't know.
I really want to go to that other dwarf village because it's effectively just a rundown shithole with an ether current at the top. So I would love to learn a little bit more and reforge their dwarven spirit. So I think it'll be the Numo first of the three. We do have those evil Numos that are just like they hate us. So I want to dig more into that relationship, I suppose. But yeah, I think the Numo probably be first. Yeah. The next one was, how the fuck did we get Leviathan and Titan looking like that? And he actually came up with a decent answer. I think Leviathan was the answer everyone suspected, where we remember fighting the head and the tail at the same time. So it's, we just kind of remember it like two heads in a sense. That one makes sense, I think. And then also with Titan, it was like we mixed up him and the goblins like in our imagination. So he just has a tank, which I'm sure you love because you love the Gobwalker. It's the Titan Walker.
Sure do.
I can't wait for Alexander Ultimate one day.
Woo.
Imagine there's Gobwalkers.
They're not putting that shit in. I knew where you were going. No.
But Sly, it's iconic.
It's iconic, but why would you want that in Ultimate? Really?
Because it upsets you. That's the only reason why I want it. It upsets you.
Not even for like a fucking phase. It just drops and you have to use it for a fucking phase in Ultimate. No, just leave that shit out completely.
Sounds like, we're going back. He messes with time. We can go back in time and have to do that part of Alexander. Just need a Gobwalker. An 8-player Gobwalker. It could be like the last. You play in World of Warcraft. There's a few fights in Wrath where everyone needs to be in siege weapons. Yeah, it's like that. All 8-player. Everyone suffers together.
It's not like what? What was it? O2? Not O2. A2. Where it's was it A2?
A2 is the Gobwalker fight.
Yeah, I mean, you get an Air Force for like what, a few seconds?
You mean 06?
06, yes.
There you go. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
No, you get it. That's when you turn into Typhon and you have to blow the wind things away.
Yeah, but you're getting an Air Force for like a few seconds.
Yeah, so you can float.
Yeah.
No, this will be a whole phase with the Gobwalker, I promise.
I'm okay with that, but no.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. I can't wait for the Gobwalker. Really looking forward to it. Next one's great. What are the lyrics to the Raktika song? Soken said, I don't know. He's like, let's just say they're unknown.
Unknown.
I love that he doesn't know what the words are, which actually is not that surprising to some degree, because Koji and Oda-san are usually like, if there's going to be like a lore reason for lyrics in a song or something, they're usually the ones to kind of know it more in depth. That's kind of more of a Koji question for me. I want to ask Koji the same question and see. Now, if he doesn't know, then we've got a problem. Did they just like grab an office member and be like, listen, just make sounds. We'll like tune it and shit, and it'll be fine. And he just did whatever. Oh man. Will we get more Crystalline Mean quests in the future? Don't have any plans. Maybe not.
I mean, they were good. I like them.
I haven't done all of them yet.
Yeah.
And I kind of skipped the cutscenes of the one I did do. So,
which one did you do?
The foraging.
Oh yeah.
I've been watching the cutscenes for Alchemist, whichever one Alchemist is a part of, where you have to like where the
Alchemist
Amuro's poisoned. Yeah, and
Culinarian.
Culinarian.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one I've been paying attention.
That one's good. That one is actually pretty good in the end. It gets better in the end. I thought, to me, the best one was between Keshi Ray, which was botany and minor, and what was it? Actual Fisher. Fisher was really good. Fisher was.
Don't get too ahead of yourself with me on that one, Sly.
Yeah,
you know better.
But Fisher's just like he's just looking like there's a Hrothgar that's just looking out for your balanced diet. That's it. It's it. Simple.
Another little lore question is, why does the Automaton Queen exist? And so there's actually two answers to this, because in the unofficial one, they go into a little bit more detail. In the official one, there was they mentioned how they saw a theory on Twitter that the turret just like, I think I can, you know, the little engine that could its way and became the queen, which is weird for a non-sentient machine to think that. But as it was in the legend that could. The other one they mentioned was that it like fused with a training dummy. Which I like that theory a lot more. But basically there's no answer. But if anyone has the answer, that it's Oda-san. But Yoshida didn't have an answer. He was just like listing theories he had seen on like what it actually is. So I like the training dummy one. It's a training dummy fused with a turret. So hey, listen, maybe we can get training dummies that fight back then. Amarot's beautiful. There's a tall building. Will we ever get to go in it? They said it's not. The whole city's not real. He's like, which is funny because they put a spoiler warning on the question earlier, and this one they're just like, the city doesn't exist. They just answered it. So yeah, he's like, it's probably a limitation of its architect and the development team. Throwing him under a bus there. How do you tell the difference between male and female dwarfs? Can you?
Oh my god.
When they're wearing their helmets. Then I will say that's actually a part of the healer role quests. That's actually a somewhat relevant part of the healer role quest. There's really like, they don't really care. So there's not. Like, it's a dwarf is a dwarf and that's all that matters kind of mentality. So just a little bit of lore background. There's really no need to be able to differentiate them because a dwarf is a dwarf. Which is fine because no one can tell the difference between male and female Lalafels anyway. So they're like, a potato's a potato. So who cares? That's what everyone tells me. I got some sick sideburns. So I don't know what people are saying.
Wow.
Yeah, a potato is a potato. There you go. What does meole taste like?
Y'all fucking nasty.
It's bread. It's a sweet bread.
Y'all nasty.
You don't want sweet bread?
No, I don't want people. No.
I mean, I figured it was probably bread anyway, because they're not going to give anything other than bread to the poor people. Like
they gave them people bread. Yeah.
Well, they gave them people bread made with the bones of sin eaters, but bread. They just ground the meat and the bones into a dust and stuck it with the yeast. That's fine.
Y'all nasty.
The Protector of the Woodside quest in Raktica mentions corals and Namazu. I didn't see any Namazu. Where are they? Said there may have been some Namazu at some point.
It got caught in the flood. Sorry,
dude. I want a forgiven Namazu. I want to see what the Namazu looked like when they transformed. We're dead, yes. Listen, We already know how they would have died on the first, because our entire Namazu questline was about them avoiding complete annihilation. So if the Warriors of Light never did the quests, then they're fucked. It's the bottom line. Very dead, yes.
Yes.
Is the dancer in the opening trailer Lena? And they basically described this as a Hraesvelgr situation, where they're like, here's concept art, go nuts with the trailer. So it just ended up being that Lena used the same model as the dancer, and they have nothing to do with one another. So yes and no, in a sense. Nothing really much to take away from that. Oh, this was not
a good one.
This one was interesting. Sly, I can't wait to get your perspective on this. Due to loot changes in Eden Savage, we're seeing disagreements between pickup groups over loot. For someone like me without a static, I'm worried I won't be able to get any gear aside from exchange items. Do you have plans to adjust the loot system? Very fair question. Sly, what's your experience so far with loot? You've only done the 2 fights. You did 1 fight last week. You did both fights last week, both fights this week in the first 2. How's your experience been so far?
It's okay. I mean, I got something from 2 today. No, 1. I didn't get anything out of 2. Read the answer and I'll go a little bit into detail.
So the question is essentially, so in the unofficial translation, the question goes a little bit more in depth, and it basically talks about how, you constantly, like, you lose all the loot. It's every week, you can lose every loot because everyone's rolling everything, so you can just lose everything every week. And Yoshi P's like, yes, you can lose everything, but on the other hand, you could also win everything. So
I've heard rumors of statics doing Loot Master and certain jobs or certain roles getting drops and others not getting anything.
It almost sounds like the DPS are getting all the loot in the first few weeks.
Maybe.
Like I predicted. And like I have 3 pieces already. And I think I'm getting the weapon this week. So there's some truth to that. I won't lie. It comes down. So here's the thing, though. In a static, in a few weeks, everyone's got everything anyway. I mean, if you're beating all the fights, there's no way you don't have everyone with everything in a few weeks. Because you're getting books, you're getting coffers, you're guaranteeing every single piece, and this person is getting a piece that they want.
Mm-hmm.
You have complete control over the fact. Pugs, on the other hand, unless you're Arthur's, you do not walk away with a lot of luck. that motherfucker. None of those pieces were even Biss. He still won all 3 of them. Fucking Arthur's, man. He's not changing this loot system yet. This is not a case of greed only 24-man where the outrage that's part. To be fair, greed only 24-man is a much bigger outrage because more people do 24-mans than Savage. They should really have just a mix of the 2 systems. Some straight up loot drops and some straight up coffer drops. They could just
agree.
A little bit of both, but that's, not what they're doing. So, yeah. Good luck, Sly.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I know, watch, I say that, you're going to get everything from 3 this week. You're going to win. You're going to win the solvent for the lightweight tombstone weapon you don't fucking have. You're going to win the legs. You're going to win boots, because I'm feeling boots are going to drop in yours. And you're going to win the twine. You're going to win all 4. You can get boots in 3. You can get them in 2, but you can also get them in 3.
I gotta check stats on boots again. I did this.
Well, I don't care. You're just gonna roll on all of them anyway. I don't give a shit.
Probably.
That's all that matters. You're just gonna win all 4 of them. I can feel it, Sly. You're gonna win 2 parties from now, and you're gonna win all 4 pieces.
When this doesn't happen, I'm blaming you.
Okay. When you lose all 4 pieces, it's my fault. Got it.
Okay.
All right. I'm just trying. Listen, and I shouldn't be giving you good luck because I need it for Vegas this weekend. So I need you to lose all 4 of those because in that moment, that's when I get the bonus. 1 more for the bonus.
2 more for the bonus.
No, just 1 more. I need all that luck. There you go. Somebody did math it out, and technically your odds are better with the new system. It's been mapped out. I'm not the one who does the math, Sly. I look at math and I give it to you. Now, going to something a little bit less serious in terms of loot, but still a problem, Extreme Trials just are dropping more and more weapons every expansion, and while you can use the totems to get the weapon you want, it really sucks to see the weapon you actually want drop outright, less and less and less. And I agree.
I never saw mine drop.
Exactly. And I think that, while yes, you have that fallback system of the 10 totems for when you don't get it after 10, it still kind of sucks because obviously this could never happen. I refuse to believe this would even happen. But in the situation where you want all 17 weapons and you do not win a single one over all the runs, that's 170 runs.
Fucking suck.
That would really fucking suck, like to the maximum if that somehow happened. And then plus another 99.
Like, to be fair, you would eventually get a weapon that you wanted if you're going for after all jobs. You would eventually get a weapon that you want.
But if you have to win the roll, what if all 7 other people want all the weapons and you lose every roll? Dude, listen, we can't go from talking about Eden where you could win it all, you could lose it all, and not act like it can't happen here too.
All
right. I'm just saying. I think it could use an update, just like I think the other loot system shouldn't stay in its current form. You know, I think both loot systems could use an update. I think that's fair. Set. And with that, when you get a nerf Eureka. So, you know, you can solo all Eureka except Provenance Watcher, technically, right now. It sucks, but you can do it. Because NMs are soloable in Eureka. If you're the only one there, they're soloable. It just sucks. If you're anything but like a tank or a healer. Or actually, once you get to Pyros, it doesn't matter what job you're on. You just take Bloodbath. The Bloodbath Logos action and like whatever the defensive one is, and you're a fucking god. You can't die.
Right.
Sly, tell me about this. Is it a bug you can change your direction during jump? Is it going to get fixed?
Yo, shut the fuck up.
Well, I mean, all he said is that if it becomes a necessary technique, they'd want it disabled, but otherwise it doesn't matter.
Yeah, whoever asked this question, you a fucking snitch. God damn it.
Sly, he just says nothing's going to happen to it.
We may have to disable this on Dragoon's jump action.
Yeah, but it's not necessary.
Hey. Yeah, it's not. But shut the fuck up.
It only works on controller and only in legacy camera style.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
It'll be okay.
Y'all telling too much shit, man.
You'll be all right. It doesn't matter. You'll be fine. We're going through fates in new areas. I cap on bicolor gems quickly. Can you increase the cap? They're considering it. Yeah. That's fair. Will Veer and Hrothgar be recruits for the company squadron? Currently being considered.
Eventually.
I don't care. I don't think they care about squadrons. The fact that they're even considering it blows my mind. Because I'm not convinced they give a shit anymore about squadrons. They don't have to. There's no reason to. It's not even like they're at fault for it. There's just no reason to. Do you have plans for a feature to recruit or search for free companies? Also community groups other than free companies like y'all. Why do we need even more community groups? And the answer is, yes, we're getting another one. We're getting circles. Oh. You mean the thing that everyone complains about is every arena in the game? even our chat channels are circles now. We had all squares this raid tier too. Think about it. We had all squares.
You're right. We did.
Even Titania is a square. Only Innocence is not a square.
Yeah.
So it's really the patch of the squares. So I just want to point that, and rectangles, I suppose. You know, just it's not circular arenas. But all the dungeon bosses the same. Yeah, you could create a circle for certain activities which you can register for, and it will send you notifications. You could use it like some kind of customer list. This will be added in 5.1, and we're going to cover it in the next live letter. It's not like even an idea. It was something they were already working on.
Yeah. But
what do we need it for? Like what? So Sly, I see this and I see just another thing on top of link shells, cross-world link shells. FC. Is it just because it sends you notifications so that they had to build it from the ground up? So like it because it has that additional system?
I honestly don't know where they're going with this. When I saw this, I'm like, well, we have link shells, we have all this other stuff in place. What could we possibly use this for? And they said customer lists. I'm like,
So for ERP, got it. Anyway.
Well, to be fair, no, that
you could use it like if you wanted to set up a circle in which you're a crafter and you provide services, and people could like place orders from you directly.
I could see it for world.
Why the fuck would I join a circle for that? I'm just gonna go into the party finder and search for some motherfucker who's crafting.
World travel.
I don't care. I don't think we need another social thing in the game.
You're like, we're already fucking social enough.
It's not even that. It's like people who are going to do something like this, they already have systems in place for it. It's like, can I use, is this going to replace people advertising in the party finder?
To be fair, some of those systems are kind of makeshift systems.
You mean like party finder? Like people go, like Duty Roulette expert looking for static? I mean, maybe that's what they're hoping to do, is to get all those out of the party finder. I guarantee you it doesn't change anything, but maybe that's what they're hoping.
Implement recruit. You could just implement recruitment.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you could have a recruitment circle. It just won't work. Whatever this is supposed to do, I don't think it'll work. I don't even fully know what the intent is, and I don't think it'll work.
Again, hell, we're already social in and out of the game. So
this is like when they tried to give us a mobile app that had a separate chat system in the game. I'm just going to use Discord. People are going to use Line, Discord, their game. I don't know. It just, maybe it's better than what I think. I see that and I go, I don't know why. That's it.
I'm not as optimistic as you. No,
if you considered what I just said optimism, I don't know what being a pessimist is to you. I don't know at all.
That's slight optimism, but I'm not even fucking optimistic at all about this. It's just extra to me.
All right. Yeah, me too. Are there any plans for a new deep dungeon in 5.x?
Yes.
That's a secret. Shut up. That's a secret.
Yes. Really?
I wonder if the same thing, I'm like, you know that sometimes not giving an answer is an answer, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's still, maybe it's a secret because like deep dungeon, it's like, it's not going to do like the same kind of deep dungeon. They like do something entirely different.
I mean, obviously, but
I mean like something more than here's a one-hit kill button for the whole floor. You can hold up to 3 of them.
Here's a dog that'll give you a buff for a little while.
And you'll see him 4 times in 2 years.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking Ronkin Ruins for a deep dungeon. I think that inside of that solo instance we have in the main scenario, they show things they could do in a Ronkin deep dungeon. Statues that you have to walk behind, or avoiding enemy packs in certain.
I would love that.
I'm just saying the Ronkin Ruin solo instance is a great example of what I think people would consider a better dungeon diving experience, but not as friendly to the duty finder.
Right.
And the Great Serpent could show up. The Great Serpent could be in there. I like it. I hope, and then running away from the boulders and stuff. Like, I think it'd be cool. I think Ronkin Ruin Deep Dungeon is something that could actually be more uniquely interesting. If not the Wobbutalia ruins, there's a dungeon under Wobbert. We already know about that, where they've kept a lot of the prisoners, and they were there when it flooded, and a lot of the drowned are people who were down in those dungeons. So, plenty of room for that too. When are we getting the beard from the trailers? This has got asked like every month since that trailer came out.
Right.
They're actually, it seems like they're actually like really trying to jump on making that thing work, because they were like, we wanted to do it. It wasn't as easy because it was specifically designed for that Huron male face. So like they have to do some work to make sure it appears properly on other races and stuff. But it says they may take some time, but they want to make it work. They want the stubble. It was funny because the last time he was asked about this, he said he had no idea people wanted it. And they immediately hopped on it like, oh shit, let's do that. So I wonder if this leads to more face options in general. Because if they can start making this face option work, then there's other face options I'm sure they could make work on top of that. But if not, just wear your Dwarven helmet. Most glorious beard in the world. With glowing eyes. Hairstyles for Hrothgar and Vieira. They're working on it.
Limited.
Dope.
Yeah.
He acted like, he was like, of course there will be more. Like it was silly to even ask. I think it was reasonable to ask.
I mean, I kind of knew it was coming. Like new race, new styles, of course. Yeah, I knew we were getting them.
Yeah, but because they're so different from the rest of the races, like I questioned would they really get, because then you're making a resource for only those people, which is the way they work in the first place. But right. I honestly think it was worth asking because I was not convinced they would do more. It'd be a Peaches question to some, but in terms of people's interest in their character, which is a very important thing to people, especially when they pay for Fantasias or they go to the esthetician, should unlock that one day. It matters to them. So, solid answer. So, of course, more hairstyles. Unsynced Rathalos sometime soon. I was surprised it wasn't unsynced.
It's already not that bad as it is. So.
No, I have 35 scales, but the other 15, I'd like to just demolish them, motherfucker.
True.
An expansion later. Tempest, the music doesn't change in battle, even with the setting on, because you can turn that setting off. Can't you? Isn't there a setting for that? For turning battle music, like making it so it stays the background music or something. Isn't there a setting for that? I don't mess around with the settings.
There's a setting for mount.
Yeah, I know there's a setting for that. I mean, either way, it was. I still agree it was a nice change. I thought there was a setting for that, so just goes to show you how much I know. Oh yeah, Chad says you can turn the battle music off. Yeah. So it's still a nice touch that even without turning it off, that it does that. But there you go. Will there be an extreme version of the last boss battle? Yes, 5.1.
Yes,
obviously we knew that was coming. 465 weapons would be my prediction. I have no reason to believe it should be anything else. Level sync for side quests. Can we get it for other side quests? Older side quests. They said they're working on it. It's high manpower.
It's a lot of manpower and a lot of cost.
So they've got resources. The resources they would be spending on that are working on New Game Plus, which is supposed to come out in 5.1. Mm-hmm. However, the rest of that manpower is being put towards making the A Realm Reborn scenario more compact, which they are aiming for in 5.3.
Good.
It's happening.
Yes.
I didn't think it'd be happening for a long time. I did not think, by 5.3 especially, I was not expecting that.
I was soon.
It's just every time they've spoken about it, it's been how it's such an immense task. But I had a feeling they were probably chipping away. Like, they weren't just not doing anything with it.
Here's my caveat, though. It's going to get pushed back at least once.
I think, at the very least, not till 0.35, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it not make it in 5.3x at all. Because I have a feeling their resources are just... I don't feel like they're going to be...
Very thin.
Not even thin, just not focused on that specific thing as much.
They put enough resources towards this, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying it's going to get pushed back at least once.
I'm in that boat. I firmly believe... I will not believe it's actually coming at 5.3. It's like Kingdom Hearts 3 for me. I won't believe it till it's happened. And same with 7 Remake, so see you in March. But anyway. No.
Human.
It's not time. It's not dinner time yet. Stop it. All right. Restoration of Ishgard. They'll talk about it in future live letter.
Yep.
Desynthesis.
I thought this was a you question. What? Okay. Go ahead and read.
Between the unofficial translation and the official translation, I don't know what to even believe anymore. Because they both don't give me anything conclusive. This looks conclusive, but it doesn't line up with what I've seen unofficial translations saying. Desynthesis rates will be changed to 100% success and no need to level them up. So Yoshi P.
Dead. So no, you're ruining the fucking market.
So Yoshi P. I've got.
God damn it.
I've got this paper for you right here. Yeah, I've got this. This is my invoice for the gil that I want back. So if we can just, I know I made some gil, but I also spent it. It's a business expense. So if you could just fill this out, send the gil to my inbox. I wouldn't mind.
Okay. Yes, this does make it easier for people to get rid of stuff they don't want.
Well, I need a comfort animal.
Already...
No, don't run!
I need a comfort animal. Aloha just won.
He's out. He's fucking out. He's coming back. No, he's come back to comfort me. See? I knew I could trust you.
I need a comfort animal. I'm out.
There you go.
Leave me alone, human.
There you go.
Oh boy, that was good. But yeah, like really the only other way besides desynthesis to get rid of shit is GC turn in, Domin Enclave, what else?
No, don't go that way. Damn it, Aloha. Don't stand on the keyboard. Idiot. No, stop. Stop. You can keep talking, Sly. I'm listening. Okay.
I'm trying to think of other ways to get rid of gear besides this desynth, Domin Enclave, GC turn in.
Converting to materia.
Sorry. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you have options, but this is just going to saturate the market.
I mean, the market's saturated. I'll be honest. Here's the thing: if they at least make it so you need the crafter leveled, I'll be fine. Okay.
I can agree with that. So
I just.
Like absolute 80 for some things, or depending on what.
No, just if you have the level, you can still be guaranteed. If it just requires an 80 crafter, I'm okay with that. I'm at least somewhat okay with that.
All right.
I just why? Why? You're killing me, man.
You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me, Petey.
I just hope people are too lazy to remember to do this, and I keep making money. That's been the greatest benefit to it this whole time. Is people are just too fucking lazy to do it. Please just keep people be lazy.
Oh, okay, see, I have a reason to be lazy now. Like I really have a reason to be lazy about it now. I'll just fucking wait.
Just switch to pure level. Just make it so we need the crafter level. That'll be fine. People don't want to level crafters. It's fine. That'll work. That works for me. It's great. Because you only need a level 30 crafter right now to do decent. That doesn't make any sense. Fuck it. Yeah, just need the whole thing. Anyway, they're going to be adjusting some recipes while they're at it for Weaver and other jobs. Some gathering points and stealth in general are going to be adjusted for gathering. They might even make it so you might be ignored by enemies while you're on mounts. Which is weird, but okay.
But going back to the like, you skipped the important part for the crafting one, like lowering the number. Which,
well, I mean, it's for like Weaver recipe, like really annoying recipes when you're leveling.
It's not just Weaver. Weaver isn't the.
That's just the prime example.
It's a prime example, but yeah, there are plenty of other crafters that have annoying fucking recipes. I'm not sure if it's just like which durability they're going to look at, or which recipes they're going to look at. But a lot of the 40 recipes require a lot. In general, there are some 80 recipes that just require a fuck ton of mats, and I don't know what they would do. I don't think they would change the recipe per se. I think they should just change the number of mats required to make it, because you go through a lot of mats and 40 durability recipes to get to something that you're going to use for an 80 durability recipe. And I just thought that was fucking stupid. So yeah, shout out for that. Thank you. Please and thank you. And yeah, just culinarian recipes, because those are fucking stupid. I mean, culinarian's always been that way to begin with. So I don't know if they will actually look at culinarian recipes, but I am hoping and praying that they do, because like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mats sometimes. It's fucking stupid. Yeah, crystals are suffering. You have to go back and get crystals and shit for all of that to use and shit. Yeah, please and thank you. Love this one.
So Sly, what you're telling me is the fact that I've done no crafting and all my crafters are 80 so far this expansion is the right choice.
Shut the fuck up.
That's all I heard.
You know what I'm hearing right now? You know what I'm hearing in chat? He don't know the struggle.
I watched Tequila make all those items for me. I know exactly what he went through.
He don't know the struggle.
I even went and desynthesized some items so he wouldn't have to craft as much.
he don't know the struggle.
Because y'all busy taking all this time to, I got to craft this thing up from this. I'm like, motherfucker, that NPC sells something for 11K. I got 2 cloths off that motherfucker. So y'all struggling for nothing. All right. Y'all fucking struggling for no reason. Y'all just doing it the dumb way. Okay. Y'all be like, I got to start this from scratch. I got to build it up. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm going to walk in that dungeon.
Actually gather it and... Oh, okay. All right.
I gathered it by destroying that item. He was like, man, I got to craft this and craft this and craft this so I can craft this. And I'm like, dude, I just got 2 of those off.
I mean, to be fair, like a lot of the 40 ones I quicksynth, even though like I know you will sometimes lose the mats, and that's fine. It's for me, it's convenience over doing a 40 durability macro again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Just for like, I mean, to be fair, it's a straight up like set macro. You will get it. That's fine. But I don't feel like waiting for the fucking macro.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with not waiting, which is why I clicked right-click desynthesis, destroy item. I have 2 of them.
Yep. Okay. All right.
It was great. It took me all of about 6 minutes to get all his Weaver mats. That's it. 6 minutes. And if I had just sold those items, could have made the guild back and made a profit instead. And then just bought the items. And I gave it to him for his effort. And then I paid him anyway. Because he still made the end result item. So, I consider myself quite the entrepreneur in this case. An entrepreneur of a market that is about to be fucked in the ass. Very roughly. With a cactuar limb. Alright. Overmelding, they're considering making it happen quicker, but also, bro, go level a crafter was his advice. Leveling a crafter isn't difficult, so just go level them. So all that shit we just got to talk about, he's like, yeah, just go level them. That way you can do your overmelding. It's nice and quick. Because they want to add overmelding to the NPC, and he's like, nah.
Just raise the luck on fucking melds, please. That's all I'm asking. 17% and 10% fucking suck. Fuck you. Raise the fucking luck on
Sly,
melds.
sounds like you could use some hunts. Because
No, it's just scripts. And I'm fine with doing shit for scripts. It's fine. It's not even like...
Oh, you're talking about crafting and gathering, yeah. Mm-hmm. Here's what you do. You go do the hunts, and then you sell that material and buy and buy the other shit.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, I could sell my material.
You'd be all right. I believe.
Big true. Yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah. Listen, if there's anything else 168 mil is going to get me, it's going to get me a lot of gear when Ishgard comes out. I'll be all set when Ishgard comes out. Can we get more armory space chests? I mean, we've heard that question a million times before. It's the same explanation, eventually, but it's not just going to happen overnight. The usual. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Pop-up dialogue boxes from PCs. Can you make them bigger, make them be displayed for longer? And they can't really make them adjustable per se, but they might be able to increase the size of them. Nothing too major there. Can my fairy look like Feo?
You never know if Feo will listen to your orders. They might refuse to heal you until you agree to solving riddles for 7 days and 7 nights.
It'd be
that
fun.
Seems possible.
You want to know what's funny? I actually imagine it being more like, you ever see a scholar who forgets to summon the fairy when they get like synced down or something, or like they go into the dungeon, they just job swap and they just forget to summon the fairy? I imagine you go to click like summon Eos and Feo just is like nod. You have to be like, oh, loveliest branch.
Yep. Oh, come on. You can do better than that.
Yeah, there you go. You're in the middle like, the boss is already pulled!
Feo, just please! No.
Oh, loveliest branch, please. Oh, man. Are you planning to make it easier to tell if an attack is physical or magical? So this was interesting, because this is actually very pertinent towards progression. People use ACT to get this information, as it is. So having that information available in the game removes an effective use of ACT. And I think it's something that a game should be able to properly display when you have skills that only work on certain types of damage, like Feint and Atom.
I feel like it's easy to do.
It can be. A lot of the times you see something that looks like it's physically hit someone and it doesn't look like it's made of magic.
Color code it. I mean, this might not. But
well,
yeah.
so people are saying there's a lot of very simple, and obviously, like in terms of where we'll see it on our end, it's pretty simple to imagine a system where like, the text is a different color, or there's a different animation for it. But that's not the concern. His concern is that when they make changes in balance, that we're learning kind of that when they're coding and developing the attacks, that there's a process that has to go into that. And I'd imagine that a lot of this is because of the actual process. Last minute balance change means not only does the balance change have to be made, it has to be tested, so it has to be QA'd. The stuff has to be received back, and maybe that doesn't work, and then they have to do it again. So it's adding like another step into their QA process, even if they were to actually do that. So they'd also have to change the UI, which involves the UI team, which means there's QA involved in that. So they're not trying to withhold information. They didn't say no. They're just specifically stating the struggles with specifically labeling physical versus magical for an attack. But it is done in the log. So I wonder if, because obviously we can tell with ACT, and ACT just parses our combat logs. So, and looks into the memory slightly. So I'm wondering if there is a way for them to, it seems like they just don't have a system in place that does it in a way that doesn't inhibit their actual QA process. That's my interpretation of that right there. And I'm curious if they will make it a priority, because they've done a lot of stuff with the UI. I'd say Shadowbringers has been one of the best UI updates to Final Fantasy XIV, and so I can't imagine that this goes completely unlooked at over the coming months, over the next however many years and whatnot. So curious to see if this is something that now they're going to be trying to keep their eye on, if they can work into their usual process. Can we preview battle voices? Yeah, on the character. Yeah, this sounds like a response to Viera Voice 7. And some other voices as well. They said it'll take some time, but yeah, they can discuss it. It's fair. I feel like I don't understand the repair answer here. Would it be possible that a feature repairs all my items in the armory just at once? He said, let's repair whenever possible. I feel like something was lost in translation. I remember the unofficial.
He's basically telling you to repair your shit, from my understanding.
Yeah. See, that's
repair your shit.
Well, because right now what ends up happening is you go like main hand, off hand, and then you go head, body, like hands, and you go like it's broken down into categories, and they're just asking for a way to not need to go through all those categories. And I feel like that's a reasonable question. And it was just like, repairing's pretty easy, guys. It was like with the unofficial translation was more like just repair. That's what it came off to as me. I was just like, I feel like that was a reasonable question. I don't know. I feel like something was lost here when the question was received even. So I don't know. It's a really weird question and answer on the official forums right there. Sometimes when I unlock a new action, I forget to add it to my hotbar. Sly, what happens when you level and you learn a new action?
Doesn't it automatically get put on a hotbar?
Next question. Moving on.
Thank you. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that was a question. I didn't want to believe it. I just didn't want. I was like, really? This now? Just all right.
It made it.
All right. Do you have any plans to add crafted primal weapons for Gunbreaker Dancer? No. We're working on new weapons. You know what was funny?
I can't say it.
You want to know something interesting? Uh-huh. So the Lakeland weapons are actually a model that is used for Diadem weapons for Gunbreaker and Dance. So Diadem doesn't use any original models. They borrow models from other parts of the game. But why the fuck did they take the Lakeland model and put it in the Diadem? I just don't know why they bothered. Because this is we're talking about level 60 weapons. We're not talking about like next for the new Diadem kind of thing going on. Right. You know? So that was weird for them to add Dancer Gunbreaker weapons in there. Even if they're not new, it was just weird that they even considered it in the first place. What else is here? Can we get Ishtola Exarch's robes as optional items? Sometime, yeah, soon. For Ishtola at least. Of course, she's the Black Mage, so Yoshi P's immediately like, of course I need the Black Mage character's glamour. Can we get some Dwarven furniture for Lalafels? See if it's possible. I want them to make a doghouse. It's like, you know how the Dwarven houses, only the Lalafels can go in? Well, obviously you can't buy a Dwarven house, so you stick one on the outside of your house, and only the Lalafels can go in, but it's like a doghouse for Lalafels.
That's racist.
It's also my own house. It's also a house for me. And everyone else gets to be, you can't come into my house. That'll be fun. Can you remove the unique trait from rings so you can equip 2 of the same? We had a very deep argument on my stream when this question popped up. Because he's like, I understand why you want to do this, but it becomes difficult to manage. It'd be more likely to remove a ring slot. I don't like either of these options. Because people were like, well, if you only have 1 ring slot, just double the efficiency of the other ring slot. I'm like, well, that's silly, because then the ring is a god tier item, and it's like as good as a left side piece. But it's a right side piece, so it needs to now have twines coded to work on it. It needs to have its tombstone cost adjusted. And they're like, all right, well, then spread the stats across all the other accessories. I'm like, okay, that's probably the most reasonable change. But for overmelds, you just lost a bunch of overmelds for crafters. So now you have to have all the stats on all the crafter and gatherer stuff retool. And so I was like, maybe they should just leave all the other rings as is and just make newer rings not unique.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way, is just leave every old ring as is and maybe just change the new rings to not be unique. But I have a feeling that they use templates. So when they like make a raid weapon, it's a template that's already coded as unique and what. So they need to make a new template if they were going to do that. So may not be something in the near future. But I don't think it's going to happen. It's just because those rings take up way too much space for me, man. I'd like a solution for the ring armory chest, but not going to happen. Any plans for housing areas or apartments in Novront? They don't know. We haven't even got Nishgard yet.
What's going to happen on first?
Yeah, we don't know. Anything could happen. Please add more dies. Might be difficult. That's it. Please add a minion of Feoul. Maybe at some point you surprised people actually liked her. Last time he didn't think people would like it, we got Moogles. So that's a scary statement, because Feoul is most certainly not a Moogle. All right. The weapon designs in 5.0 have been cool. Can we add a furnishing housing item to display the weapons? We've asked for this in the past. It's the same problem. They actually answered this verbatim in the past, that the actual weapon is only designed to be displayed with the character model, and so it needs to be redesigned to actually work with a weapon rack. So it's not impossible. Just, don't hold your breath for a little while. I would like minions to roam around my house like the gold saucer. They said no, because they've answered this before too, but they mentioned they're making a sort of farm for your minions. Now we know about the farming feature. In case anyone's forgotten, we know there's a farming feature that's coming out this expansion, which is not the same as gardening, apparently. I wonder if they're just gonna let you just put minions that run around like assholes. Maybe the minions will take care of the farm for you. Midgardsormr, go pick my corn. Go get the corn off the stalk and, shave it off the husk. I understand you have tiny hands, Midgardsormr, but this is a business. Okay, we have to work together. I've got the spinach. You've got that. All right.
Slave driver.
Hey, I'm working.
Here you are.
I'm just saying. What else is the point? So they walk around so everyone can see how many you've collected? Oh, dude, Burn would have a fucking field day with this if it was just for on display.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big head and little arms. Yeah, Wind Up Hildy running a farm. See, that sounds perfect. Yeah. Make the purple trees in Lakeland available as a housing item. Sure. That's his answer.
Where are they going to end up? Where are they going to end up? Are they going to end up in
bicolored gemstones?
No. Maps?
Nah, bicolored gemstones. Fuck it. Maybe maps later. I mean, they could.
Yeah.
Someone asking if we can get Yoshida's Byakko themed kimono as an in-game item. Should be dope.
I'd even buy it for 20 million gil. I don't think this will be added.
I wonder if that's a legal issue with the person who made the kimono. Like they'd have to get paid that person they'd have to like set up a payment thing specifically.
I mean, to be fair, we're getting a really good glamour coming from Chinese Fan Fest, and yeah,
we don't know if we're getting it yet. We just know that.
No, fuck that. We're getting that and the fucking peacock. I will not. I won't take the peacock, but I will take the fucking glamour.
Historically speaking, we've gotten everything that's come out of the other regions sooner or later.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably gonna happen, but they haven't said we're getting them yet, so I'm gonna stay reserved there. All right. Please add the esthetician to the Crystarium. I don't know why they don't just do this. They're like, we considered having Feol cut your hair, but no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I heard that.
He's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, just go to the source and get your hair done, dude. Hair done, nails done, everything did. Do that in the source. I'm like, you really can't just add it to Crystarium, or like, there's no one on the first. No one who can cut my hair.
It's gotta be somebody. There's gotta be a facet.
We got fucking.
There has to be a facet for that. We have facets for everything. We don't have one for.
Dude, we've got Grinolt. He's just Geralt with hair, and then we've got what's
Who did his hair?
Well, nobody. That's why it's grown so out of control. But he's been in the fucking submarine for God knows how long at this point. But like, we have first equivalents of other NPCs. Just make it a first equivalent of the esthetician guy. That's it. That's all I gotta do. But I like this. The esthetician is not a personal belonging to the Warrior of Light. It's like, I mean, he is. But if I would unlock him, he would be at the very least. If there's an esthetician belt in my inn, he's my bitch. Okay, that's a fact. All right. Please allow us to confirm the help text for fairy actions through scholar actions. They're just going to be fixing up the help text for those. Some of these questions are actually from the beginning, but they had to skip over them because there were too many questions, so they got added towards the end here. Do you have any recommended side story quests? The fairies in Ilmeg, the Lollyho quest line. So he just names a few of those.
Lollyho.
This next one I feel very strongly about. Please set appropriate item level restrictions for leveling dungeons. Currently, it's possible for players to enter if their item level is far too low. We understand the issue and are discussing it. Simply setting an item level may create new problems, so we're trying to come up with a different solution. Sly, I don't like the term different solution.
What are you thinking different solution means? They
just upscale the player. Why the fuck do I even bother getting gear ever when I'm leveling if they were going to do that? Unless they want to penalize you, like EXP wise. I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with that, yeah.
If they want to make it so, hey, your gear is currently under the recommended item level for said dungeon, we will upscale you, but as a drawback, we will be reducing the amount of experience points you earn. I'd be okay with that.
It's kind of the same thing with Fates a little bit. Like if you're too low level, you don't get enough of a reward at the end because you're too low level.
I like Stage Reborn. Hello, by the way. I like them saying can't roll on loot. That kind of continues to fuck the problem, though, if they can't roll on loot. It's like, hey, we understand your gear is kind of shit, and we're not going to let you roll on loot. It's like... that's a bit of a problem.
I kind of have this similar problem. I mean, it's a little bit similar, but it's for maps. Because every time I will get someone who joins who is level 71. Actual level 71, not on another job or anything, just, actually leveling. Like, oh, I can't join this? No, I wouldn't recommend this. First of all, and then they don't even have all the flying. They only have flying in zones unlocked. And I fucking hate that too.
I tell people, if you join my map party and you don't have flying, I know I'm telling everyone not to chauffeur you. Go fucking finish it. All right.
I've gotten to the point where I've put map party, map owner needs, everybody else agrees. Bring your own maps, have flying unlocked, level 80. I've covered all bases in my description now. So yeah.
You said level 80, didn't see I needed a job crystal. You want to know what's funny? In 5.05, there was a hotfix note because somebody found out that if you get to the level where Hotshot is replaced with Air Anchor, and you haven't done the level 30 Machinist quest yet, you can no longer complete it because you don't have Hotshot anymore. That is not something anyone should have ever discovered in this game. It's hilarious, but no one should have gone through that. Same with Scholar. There's a quest somewhere for Scholar with one. Is there? I don't know. Oh, I think Scholar had the issue just because the name of the skill. Yeah. So that was impressive. But yeah, I think just make it so there's a minimum item level on this shit, man. I understand. You don't need to make it like Biss. Like, it doesn't need to be like I-400 to do Holminster. But like an item level that dictates that someone maybe gave a shit would probably be a decent minimum, like 370.
Do you think they like? How can you really set a limitation on that though? Like the obvious
you
limitation,
put a number and say do it.
I mean, yeah, you like, but what would be the determination of the number besides like, you know, what level?
I don't know. They've got item level calculations for everything else in the fucking game. Just figure one out for these. Just make this like 20, 30 item levels lower or something. I would say if the dungeon drops, I'd say 365. Whatever. Don't they give you a base set going into like level 70 or something? Don't they give you like something that's like 15 item levels below like 375? Make it 500 that. Fuck it. Make it like 20 item levels lower. So if the recommended's 418, you got to be 398. And even that's kind of shitty. But I'd at least be happier with that than 298. You know? Because it happens. And it sucks. The only time I've even come close to having this happen is I was on the JP data center. And I went in and I queued into the level at Siren Song C. And in the first pull, all the white mage's gear broke. He missed the message, didn't see it. He was at 5% on everything, broke. So he had the only gear set he had was item level like 210 set. Yeah. But you know what he did? He just buckled down, shielded himself during everything, and just only casted heals because he didn't have any potency on anything. He just fucking buckled down and took care of it. He didn't mean to do it, but he also made sure it didn't fucking ruin everyone's run. And I had a run that was as quick as every other run that I've like done in there. So that's the closest I've ever come to actually having this happen. So, God bless everyone who has this happen more often than I do. God bless that individual for being a champion with the I-210.
Shout out to the real MVP right there.
That guy was a real MVP. I would play with that guy if he deliberately had 210 gear, because at least he fucking tried. Trying is key. Giving a shit is key. With the world visit, hunts are fucked. Next question. Can you make it so hunts are only doable by people on the home world? They said it seems like an issue now.
We're about to lose instances anyway in like a patch or two. So
I honestly thought we would lose a lot of them in 0.05, at least more Donut and Shroud. I was surprised that they didn't. But yeah, they just said display priority. Now, adjusting the display priority is impossible surprised me, because that tells me there's something in regards to how many things they can give the display priority for. And that's a problem in actually a lot of places in the game, because with the A rank hunts, yes, it's terrible because you could just see nothing and then die to a mechanic. But I'm already thinking of the next public dungeon. If they do something scaled to Baldesion Arsenal, mechanics got culled in the fights. So if you're telling me that in this specific case, display priority is impossible, is it difficult to do in other shit? Because that's a big change that public dungeons would need if they're going to do a large scale one like BA ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with this. After instances go away and people have less interest in the hunt, it won't be as big of a problem. It'll always be a problem when a new expansion comes out, obviously. But the display priority thing is a bigger concern for me. Because I think if it's impossible, I want to know more. I want a more in-depth answer to this. Like, what systematically makes it impossible to make A ranks have a display priority like that? Because that might play into everything else.
All right.
And with that, we're on to the last question. Near gear. we made the decision to make the costumes wearable by both genders. So please look forward to it.
Hi.
A lot of people saying that that's what's his face? A2? What's his name? Is that his name? I don't know. 2A. I didn't play Nier. Give me the name of the robot.
I never played it either.
9S. All right, 9S is one of them. I've seen 9S. I've seen a few people say this has nothing to do with 2B. This is probably one of the other androids. So 9S gear is the other one that came to mind. So it'll work on both. Whatever they're doing will work on both. Whether it's 9S, 2B, whatever. That first set. We've got 3 of these to go through, so they're probably not going to do them all right at the beginning. So yeah. We'll see where that goes, because we don't know which sets they're actually doing for the Nier one. We'll probably find out in maybe the next live letter or the live letter after. And also that they haven't really considered doing a weapon, because like a katana would only be limited to certain jobs. But they may consider doing Nier themed weapons as well. People are requesting enough, so they'll talk about it more in 5.1, the live letter for 5.1. They already said that Yoko Taro will be joining them for the next live letter from the Tokyo Game Show between September 12th and 15th. So that's when our next live letter is going to be, about a month from this show, which is on August 13th. And so that'll be what this show's about a month from now. You got it, Sly. Put it in your calendar. We got the TGS themed show there right before TwitchCon. And with that, we got through all 70 questions, Sly.
Woo!
Hell of a time.
Fish it.
Yeah. Really hoped they mentioned the instance thing that we talked about at some point, because I was really hoping it would be here and it wasn't. Oh man, that's unfortunate. I think that's like one of the biggest things to talk about, but I think it is.
Are you going to PAX Prime?
No. Sly, it's not Prime anymore because it's not the favorite. It used to be called Prime because it was the big one.
Yeah.
Now it's just West.
West. I forgot about that.
If we were still going by that naming convention, it would have been PAX Prime, PAX East, and PAX Nobody Goes to This in Texas.
Wow. Shade. I was going to say you could ask him PAX West, but you're not going.
Dude, PAX West doesn't tell anyone when they're selling tickets until they're already on sale. PAX South emails you a week in advance and goes, yo, just so you know, there's going to be tickets available in a week. And then for the next 6 months, they're like, still got tickets. See you there, right? Yeah. It's like the friend who wants to throw a party and no one shows up. So they're just like, you don't throw that party tonight, man. It's gonna be great.
All this beer and stuff. No, like it's
yeah. They lay out. They've got like special cheeses and like quality IPAs, and they made a punch bowl, and no one showed up. That's in my mind. That's what PAX South is. People show up, but it's certainly the most meme worthy of the bunch for me.
Shade.
But now I want punch. So. With some fucking vodka poured in it, preferably. That'll put me out cold tonight. But with that, Sly, we got through it. We're all good.
Got through it. We got all the questions.
Now, before we go any further, is there anything else you want to talk about this week before we wrap up?
No, we covered everything pretty much. Like I said, looking forward to the Lubu, as I like to call it, the Lubu glamour for Chinese Fan Fest.
Let's see. Hold on. There's one thing I do want to check real quick, because I said before the show that I didn't want to play a video, but I've changed my mind. And by play a video, I just mean, sometimes we go over to the media section. Oh yeah, I have a feeling. So one of the reasons why I didn't want to play a video, and some of you are probably actually suffering from this on the Twitch end of things. For some reason, I've had to change the codec of the show on OBS. And it's a codec that's far more stressful on my PC. I've modified the settings a little bit, but when I play YouTube videos during it, it really doesn't like it, which sucks because there's a YouTube video I really want to play. And I'm going to give it a try, but it might lag. It might lag the stream because I think it already cost some frames just a moment ago.
Is it the Fight Crab trailer?
No, but it's still very impressive. So one thing that happened in this last week is the Moonfire Fair. And as such, Ultimate Eorzea Warrior or Ultimate Eorzea Ninja Warrior is back. And they made it so you can't use mounts. They made it so you can't use certain abilities like Shikuchi or the Dragoon Jump to skip it. And so everyone says, oh, so it's way harder this year. Not this person who did it in 48 seconds. And Jesus fucking Christ. This was the emoticon, emo_Otacon on YouTube. And unfortunately, it will probably lag. I'm going to try playing it anyway for you guys because this shit's impressive. All right. So hopefully it doesn't lag too hard. Yeah, it's lagging the Twitch side of things. Ugh. But it's so impressive. Let me know how bad the lag is on the Twitch side because it looks like it's really bad on my end. It looks bad. It looks bad to me. But I think you can still kind of get it. But yeah, it's like 10 FPS. The frames are just destroyed. This codec sucks. I got to find a reason how to fix my OBS so it doesn't do that. It's pretty fucking bad. It's really just this jump that I want people to see. Yeah, that's the shit. It's still watchable. All right. Well, this dude's just a fucking monster right now. It looks like he's using the lags to his advantage for the jumps. I cannot. He does it in 48 seconds. The whole tower in 48 fucking seconds. Yeah, someone's like, this is watchable. It's going to sound like the conversation with Dark Souls. Here, I'll just put it in the Twitch chat and you guys can watch it there. Yeah, I hopefully can figure out this whole codec thing and what's going on. Because it's really annoying when I want to show shit like that. But that was a good test because I did adjust some settings. And apparently they weren't good enough. But yeah, that video is OP as fuck, so watch it. That was the one thing I wanted to share. Yeah. We just didn't hear anything about the Rising. We know there's no 14-hour broadcast, but we didn't hear anything about the Rising for this year, which also surprised me. So I hope it's cool. The anniversary is 2 weeks from today. And that's when WoW Classic comes out. What a day. I mean, I'll be playing that day. So, it's whatever. A lot of EM people are going to be playing that day. So, it's going to be a fun time. All right then, Sly. If you don't have anything else to add to the show at the end here, then I think it's time to wrap up.
It is.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of State of the Realm. Again, thank you to our sponsor, SteelSeries. Again, thank you to our patrons, including our new one, Mini Flame, and, of course, our patrons of Darkness, Khuja Cross, on Jenova, and Kurenai Oni. You guys rock. All of you, including SteelSeries, of course. Sly, you rock also. So why don't you tell people where you rocking at?
I'm rocking at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Greyfox. I'm also rocking on Twitter at Slythefox, Instagram Slyakagreyfox, youtube.com/development and yeah, everything's kind of back to normal now until September, and then we're fucked.
That's not good. Even me going through Twitter, the stream doesn't like because the fight crab video.
You're watching the fight crab video again. Okay, Haps, where can they find you besides watching the fight crab video or looking forward to fight crab 2?
You can find me watching the fight crab video on twitter.com/ what's the name? Twitter.com/ NIN Switch News, Nintendo Switch News, NIN Switch News. That is not a channel about people switching off of Ninja. It is a channel of people switching of the Nintendo Switch. It's 2 different Ninja Switches right there. That's fine. So, and you can also find me, Mr. Happy1227, at Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Mr. Happy1227. I'm going on vacation for 2 days this weekend. Not going to be gone for very long. Going to Vegas. Can't wait to lose some money and hang out with some friends I haven't seen in a while. So I won't be around Friday, Saturday, just so you know. So anyway, I got to figure out what's going on for next week's show. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be too short notice for Ethis to have Aerzivia ready. So if that's not the case, well, I might ask around for a healer show because, of course, people want to know about the status of healers, and you and I are not qualified to talk about it at all. So we'll see. I'll let you know which show we end up doing for next week. And thanks, everyone, for hanging out this week. We're going to go into a short post show, and then I'm going the fuck to sleep because I'm tired. All right. So sounds good, Sly?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Alrighty then. We'll see you all next week for the next episode of State of the Realm. And until then, bye-bye.
See you next week.